Hey y'all, I'm Kara, mom of 2 and vanilla Dr. Pepper addict.
And I'm Danielle, homeschool mom of 3.
Welcome to the 30ish podcast.
Cheers! Welcome back to the 30ish podcast. We have our first guest today, Chelsey of Skin Confidence. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
We are going to start off with some rapid fire questions just to kind of break the ice and have everybody get to know you a little bit better. Okay, Chelsey, what is your favorite color?
Green. And if you've been here to Skin Confidence, you would know that. Everywhere. There's green everywhere.
What is your favorite book?
Oh gosh. Any schmutty hockey book.
Hockey related. Okay, I love that.
Consider Me is a really good one. Icebreaker, of course. I could sit here for hours and list off books, but yeah, any schmutty hockey book is my favorite.
Wait, hang on. What is the hockey?
I honestly don't know.
It's all those hunky men.
Yeah, but they're not hot in like real life. Like they're skinny little twins in real life, but in the books they're hot. But I don't know. I just like was on Kindle and saw this like book and it was about hockey and I was like, oh, I really like this one. And now it's all Kindle Unlimited shows me and it's all I'm reading. Or like small town romances, you know. Anything that ends happy, I can't read anything sad.
I agree with that. I don't like a sad ending. I need to know that they're living their life somewhere happy
Yeah.
at the end. Okay, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, that changes like all the time. I mean,
Same.
I'm always down for Mexican.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love a good marg.
That was my next question. What's your favorite drink?
Well,
Alcoholic drink.
see, my favorite drink would be, this is like so Pacific, shout out to Allie on Maine, but they have this wild berry mojito, like wildflower, wild something, it's so good. So I've always had like a mojito, a fancy.
So we're going there later to get to mojitos.
Yeah.
Okay, and let's see, one more. What is your favorite place to go on vacation?
Anywhere, honestly. I've been to Aruba like so many times, so
Ooh, I've
I guess I
been
should
there.
say Aruba. It's really nice. It's where we went on our honeymoon. My husband sang that like literally the whole way there.
Tyler would do that too.
I was
That's
like, please.
very dad joke of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So what made you want to be an esthetician, and what is your favorite part about it now?
Oh, so full transparency. I can't even talk.
You're good. You're good.
I wanted to be a hairstylist.
Okay.
And so I'm not from here at all. I'm like 45 minutes away, Mount Juliet. Went to Wilson Central, and they made you do like 4 days where you like went and looked at colleges. And so I was looking at all these hair schools, and I finally came home from one looking like, you know, a rat nest on the top of my head, and my mom was like, I love you, but if you don't do your own hair, like, how do you expect to do someone else's? And I was like, yeah, I get that. So I had like one more left to look at, and it was GCI here in Murfreesboro, and everyone was lined up to like do the walkthrough with hair, and there was this one guy just like standing there like for skin, and no one was in the line, and like I get horrible secondhand embarrassment, so it's like I have to go in his line because like I don't want him to be like sad.
Yeah.
So it was just me and him, and we did a little walkthrough, and I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. So I went home, like I signed, like I was old enough to sign by myself, but didn't even like talk to my parents about it, just signed then and there, and went home. I was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to school to be an esthetician, and my mom was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah. It was meant to be.
It was, and I generally fell in love. Like, I was always, like, one of those, first off, I didn't go to school much. Like, I would drive all the way to high school and just be like, not today, and turn around. Learning was just never something I cared about. Like, people talk about things like history, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think I learned that. Like, I just don't care. Math, don't ask me a math question. I'm not gonna know.
What's two?
Yeah, well, money has gotten no
There you
business
go.
about that, but I guess when I like went there and we were learning all this stuff, and I was just like so in love with it, and like actually cared to study and actually cared to like pass tests and stuff. I was like, oh my gosh, like I am smart.
Because it's something you're passionate about.
Yeah, I was so passionate about it, and I fell in love, and now granted, anyone that's like going to school, you know, like you are going to graduate feeling like, wait, I don't feel like everything, it's definitely like continued education is so important. And it also keeps you passionate in the field. But yeah, so I really thought I'd more focus on like makeup and stuff. And then I just like fell in love with the skincare aspect of it. So went in thinking that I was gonna be a makeup artist, like graduated, like, you know, like I want to help people with their skin, and I just had so much passion for it. And we'd have people come in with like horrible acne, and like helping them find the confidence in themselves and their skin like brought me so much joy. And yeah.
Was that kind of where the name for your business came from? Skin Confidence? I love that name, by the way.
Thank you. So I worked at Ulta, and it was such a horrible experience for me, and I'm not gonna go into the horror stories, but it was just really bad, and I never like went into this thinking like I'm gonna own my own business or anything like that. Actually, they kind of like discourage you in school. Like they make it seem like you have to work for a corporation because you're never gonna make money by yourself. If you're out there and you're going to school, do not listen to that. So I never like thought, like I was never like, I see all these like reels of people like, I knew I wanted a business when I was 4. Like when I was 4, like I care about Barbies. Like I did not think about owning a
Let's be
business.
real.
So it kind of like fell in my lap in a sense. Like me and my now husband were dating, and he was like, hey, like let's buy a house together. Like literally like 6 months in, I'm like, okay. So we had just bought a house, and I had like a really bad day at Ulta, and like one of my clients was like, why don't you just like go on your own? And I'm like, that's like, impossible. And she's really not. My hairstylist does it. And I like sat down, and I was like, I'm making this corporation so much money, and they're barely paying me. If I just like brought these clients with me, like I would be making more than what they're paying me.
Yeah.
So me and an esthetician there found a salon suite, and we were going in together. And the day after we signed, her dad like fell off a building and broke his back.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, I have to go take care of him. He lived in a different state, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Be like, now. So I was like, oh, this is just like real. Like I'm on this by myself. So I like went home. I looked at my husband or boyfriend at the time, and I was like, give me 6 months. Well, actually, I said give me a year. It only took me 6 months, but I was like, give me a year. Pay all the bills for a year, and I promise you, like this is for our future. And he was like,
picture.
okay.
And Mikey was on board?
Yeah, like he didn't understand it. I don't think. Sometimes I still don't think he understands what I do. And ask my girls, like they'll be like, he calls you so much, love you, but he calls me all the time, and he doesn't understand. Like I have clients, dude. Like, they'll be like, what do you mean you can't talk? Because I'm in the middle of a facial. So I don't think he like fully gets it.
Because he's
But-
a boy.
Yeah. But like I hear him like talk to other people, and I'm like, yeah, she like built this like from the ground up, which I did.
Aw.
But like he did help. Like
Yeah.
I have to give him credit where credit due, because I would not have been able like, and I was locked into that contract. Like I couldn't have been like, oh, never mind, bye. Like they would have sued me. So and it was me that signed, not her. So it was like all on me. So yeah, like without him, Skin Confidence wouldn't be what it is today. But back to the original question, I don't really know where Skin Confidence came from. I remember I was around the time that I found out she wasn't gonna be able to do the room with me. I went out to eat with my mom and one of her friends, and we got a little wine drunk, and I was like, what about Skin Confidence? And they were like, yes. And I'm like, yeah. So it's stuck, and I feel like I've like fallen more in love with the name like as the business has grown. But
I think it's perfect, by the way.
thank you.
Because like, at least for me, I'm not like a big makeup person. So like, if you feel confident in your skin, you feel confident. Like you don't have to wear makeup. You don't have to like. You just feel like you can do more when your skin is like on point.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's like something that like I feel like having a daughter, I've like really have to like put into perspective, because the way we talk about ourselves is like
absolutely.
they hear that. Which like sons too, but like definitely having a daughter, like I don't want her to talk about herself the way that like I used to talk about myself. So I'm like really conscious about it now.
Yeah.
she wants to wear a crap ton of makeup, like, go for it, like, all for it. But I don't want her to feel like she has to. Because I felt like I had to, even though, like, I was blessed that I didn't have acne issues, but I felt like I had to wear all this makeup and, like, spend 2 hours in the morning doing it to make myself, like, presentable.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to feel that way.
Yeah.
So that's like
awesome.
the main like goal here is in this building for me is to make sure people leave like more confident in their skin than when they came in.
Yeah, I think you've heard me say this before, but I used to be the same girl where like I remember Christmas morning and you know, usually you're like coming downstairs to open your presents and I was like, I've got to put my makeup on first. Like I didn't want my parents to record me without me having makeup on. This is when I was in like high school. Or like would not go to the grocery store, which I have like a reddish undertone to my face, so it just I feel like I look different and I didn't wear makeup, and like that's gotten better the longer that I've come here, obviously, to where now I don't really care if I go out without makeup or not. People are always like, you have great skin. I'm like, well, it's because of skin confidence.
No.
But that was a big shift for me of now I feel confident literally in my own skin.
And I think like I felt the same way. Like I remember like not really Christmas morning because my mom never filmed.
Oh my gosh,
like,
my mom did.
Just like small things like my mom would be like, hey, let's run to the grocery store. I'm like, nope, gotta do like a full face of makeup. And I'm like, where did that come from? Because like my mom barely wore makeup.
Same.
Like
I think I'm the opposite. My mom did wear
She
makeup,
did?
and I don't think I wore makeup until like I don't know, last year. No, like I did not wear makeup in high school.
and see, to me like that must be like a freeing feeling to be like, well now I do it, but like to feel okay to just like wake up and like go out the door and not feel like you have to like put on this like face, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like after Lorelai, I really stopped to think like, first off, I have 2 kids now. I do not have the time. Like I had a full makeup room with the lights and like spending like thousands of dollars a month on Sephora for the new latest makeup brands, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like I like literally, I used to love putting makeup on, and I do love makeup, and anyone that has the art to do it, like do it, girl. Like
Yeah.
but it didn't bring me joy anymore.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I have to find like something different. So since like a little over like I guess like last January, I literally everything on my face right now is sunscreen. It takes me 4 minutes in the morning, and
Even your blush?
even my blush.
Oh
like
my gosh.
everything is color science. And it literally takes me 4 minutes, and most of the time I'm doing it in the car.
Yeah, that's
Your girl
amazing.
can't get the kids to daycare on time.
Yeah.
Relatable.
But it's changed my like look on life too. Like this is like the 4 minute like makeup look, but there's days I literally just put on like a glow sunscreen and walk out the door, and I feel confident in doing that. And 2 years ago, Chelsey would never have done that. And I'm like seeing my clients like text me like, hey, like I bought the color science from you, and I haven't worn makeup in like 2 weeks. Like it makes my heart happy because like they were people that felt the same way we did. Like I could not leave the house without a full face of makeup.
I need to try that.
So
Love
is
it.
that a brand?
It's a
Okay.
brand we carry. It's called Color Science. It has so many different types of sunscreens. They
So
have,
it's a
like-
sunscreen based
yes. So
product.
a lot of times you'll like buy like an SPF inside your account. Like that's my favorite thing when people are like, oh, my foundation has SPF in it. So the US is really bad about that and like saying, oh, this moisturizer has SPF, or oh, this foundation has SPF. But say they're making like a big pot of shade 103 fair, and they put a little bit of sunscreen in it, and then they can label it as saying there's sunscreen in it, and you don't know what type of sunscreen. A lot of sunscreen can break people out, and then people get caught up in the number like 50, 30.
Yeah.
As long as it's like US, like, or UV, and oh my gosh, UV. So burning rays and aging rays, then you're fine. But that's why I love Color Science, because it's all in one. So you get a 10. It's like a like to call it an Instagram filter for your face, but it's mostly sunscreen. So it's sunscreen first instead of makeup first.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's awesome.
Well, that kind of goes into the next question I was going to ask you was, if there's one product you would recommend to someone who's interested in starting a skincare routine, because that's, I would say, my biggest problem, is there's so many things on the shelves everywhere you go, and like everybody's like, ooh, I saw this on TikTok, whatever. I'm like, do I need that? Like, is it gonna work for me?
It's
like,
really
me and Kara don't have the same skin, so like, we're not gonna necessarily use the same products. And you know, as I'm getting to be a little older, I'm not saying I'm in the grave, but like, I probably should, you know, have something that I know works for me. And right now, I probably use like a CC cream, and I use what is that? Like, not blush, but what's the word? That makes you look tan. Bronzer. Yeah, that's basically all I use.
So here at Some Confidence, like we have a philosophy like less is more. So I'm never gonna be like, here is 7 products, do with it what you will. For a lot of reasons. One, that's a lot of money down, and you're gonna run out of every single one of those products at the same exact time, and then you're gonna hate you and you have to repurchase every single one of them.
Like your car payment.
Yeah, and you're like, gosh, and then your husband hates me, and it's like this whole big thing. And then 2, I'm more like slow wins the race, because I rather, like, me looking at your skin, like, I would come up with different things that I would think are concerns based on you. So, like, if I went to someone and I was like, my concerns are my under eye bags, but like that person's only trying to like fix my aging, which is great, but like that's not my concern.
Right.
So we have I would say like, let's have a consultation. Like everyone's skin's different. You tell me like what you want to change. Like I might say like, oh, you have sun damage, but you don't care about your sun damage. You care about your under eye bags or dryness, and so you want to, you know, fix that, and then we can slowly like get into like the even skin tone. So I always say like book a consultation with a professional, because they are going to be able to help you the most. Don't listen to TikTok.
Yeah.
Those people are getting paid.
Yeah.
And their skin is not your skin, and most of the time it is like the stuff people send me sometimes. I'm like, who's like, someone just sent me, this girl was literally putting a lemon to her face. And that was her, like, she's like, my grandma did this, and like their skin was perfect. Like that's called genetics, girly pop. Like, that's not from the lemon. Like you just have good genetics, and it will catch up to you.
Yeah.
You're completely damaging your barrier. So it's just long story to say. It's book up with a professional and figure out like what is great to start. I always like to say, I can do wonders in that treatment room, but if you go home and you put junk on your face, like it's nothing's gonna work. So I always like to start people off mostly like, I look at what their skin products are. I'm never gonna be like, this is horrible, throw it away, unless it's St. Ives, then I'll be like, throw it away. I'll throw it away for you, bring it in. Yeah, throw it away, girl, throw it away. And I always make sure they have an SPF.
Okay, that was gonna be my question.
So,
SPF would probably be your number one recommendation.
What color you are, how old you are, a daily SPF, and then something that you can reapply. You have to reapply every 2 hours.
Okay.
So just putting it on in the morning is never enough. For me, like, I need something super fast. I like to do a sunscreen brush. I can just like dust it over my face. And then we have compacts that you can, you know, put it on super fast. And then treat your lips too. I always say like we have SPF lip gloss. That's amazing. But that, and then a good cleanser. A lot of times people use like just cheap cleansers, and then, you know, taking your makeup off and taking the dirt and grime off your face is so important, because if you're just putting products on top of that, they're not going to absorb if you have like dirty skin. So I would start, make sure they have a good cleanser that treats what they want to treat and is good for their skin tone. I say, you listen to the show, so they're always like, comedy is personal, but
skincare is personal.
Skincare is personal, and cleansers are so personal. Because for me, I hate a foaming wash.
Okay.
But there's some people out there that like they do not feel clean if they don't have, if their cleanser doesn't foam.
I'm probably one of those people.
So like I had a client the other day, and she was like, I know that this oil cleanser is like what I need. She's like, but you have to like, and double cleansing is so important.
I was just about to ask you, are you double cleansing fan?
Yeah, oh, girl, don't even sorry. But she's like, you have to give me a second cleanse that foams, because I don't feel clean. But back to double cleansing. Double cleansing, it's like and then that second cleanse is mopping the skin. So
Oh,
the first
I love
cleanse
that.
is gonna get anything off, even if you're not wearing makeup. Your
Right
sunscreen, your sunscreen, dirt, gross stuff that's just been on your face all day, germs, and then that second cleanse is actually cleansing your skin.
Interesting.
So double cleanse, even if you don't do anything else, just double cleanse your skin.
Double cleanse and
And
SPF. Okay, I can handle that. That's
Yes.
not something too overwhelming.
Yeah, and I think that's what, like, the industry has made it seem like you have to have like a 20-step skincare routine.
Yeah.
Do I have a long skin routine? Yes, but I don't expect anyone else to have that.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna. You have to get to know your client. If I know my client's barely washing her face, I'm not gonna put her in like a 20-step skincare regimen for morning and night. That's where we like really kind of just do the bare minimum that you need, and then when you're ready, you'll tell me like, hey, I need this. I'm ready to add a product.
I'm adding a step.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Yes, because it's a waste of my time and your time if I'm going to give you 7 products and you're going to use 1
Yeah.
or none.
Yeah.
And then it becomes overwhelming, and then it sits on your counter, and then you start to resent me. So it just becomes like this whole long circle process, and then eventually you're like, it's usually right when they're like, you know what, like I'm going to be better and I'm going to start using this regimen. It's expired. So it's like just really knowing your client and like making sure who you're going to is getting to know you and your skincare needs.
Well, and I'll say, I feel like a lot of the time that I realize, oh, I need something else is when I've just gotten a facial and I'm like, ooh, what is that? Like, what
Yeah.
did you just use? Like, you got me hooked on that retinol under eye
Mm-hmm.
serum, and it was a small bottle, but it's lasted me like
Forever.
probably a year.
And that's where, like, for me, I was always so scared to bring on medical skincare because it is expensive. And, like, there's estheticians that feel a certain way about medical skincare. And technically, I hate to use the word medical because, like, I'm not a doctor. But it's just a better skincare line with better ingredients is basically what a medical skincare line is. And because they're better ingredients, they last so much longer. And so that, yeah, they are a little bit more, but then there's stuff at Sephora that's just as expensive and
Yeah,
lasts you
for
a
sure.
month compared to some of my skin barrier products last me 6 months. So I'd rather pay the $150 for a product that's gonna last me 6 months than, you know, a Drunk Elephant moisturizer that's like $150 and lasts me a month.
Well, and you're always gonna have your face, you know,
Yeah.
like your
It's the best investment.
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, invest in your skin now because you're. I've never heard someone's like, oh gosh, I wish I didn't take care of my skin, or gosh, I wish I wouldn't have done my anti-aging regimen at 20.
Yeah.
It's always, I wish I would have started earlier. And into that, I always say, yeah, but you're starting today, and yourself from now will be thankful that you started today. So like, don't put it off, and just take care of your skin because it's the only skin you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Love the skin you're in.
Yes. Next one.
Okay, so
Well, I guess I'm the one who's
I
never
was-
been to your office.
yeah,
But
that's fair.
so, as someone who's never been to your office, what's one treatment you would recommend, and why? Besides getting like a consultation
Yeah.
first.
So that changes because
Yeah.
it all depends on their skin. But I would say if I was on a game show and I was like blindfolded and I couldn't see their skin and I had to pick like a treatment, a glow tube. Anyone can
What
do
is
it.
that?
So it's a 3-step facial that uses your body's own superpower to turn your cells over at an accelerated rate.
Okay.
So the first step is oxygenation, which I can never say, but I put this primer gel on. There's 7 pods. My husband calls it the carrier facials. If you're a new client, we probably use like detox or hydrate. Once that pod hits that gel, it creates a C2 rich environment, and your body's like, absolutely effing not. So it surges oxygen, and it kind of like has a little war on your
Okay.
face, and it's spicy. She's spicy, but it's 4 to 5 minutes
Okay.
on the face, and it's just giving you an extreme exfoliation with no downtime. And then it's the next 2 steps are like heavenly. It's like ultrasound. We put a serum on. It has like these mini vibrations that pushes that product in, and then a massage after.
Ooh.
Anyone
It's
can
so
get it,
good. So good.
and your skin is glowing for like weeks after.
Okay.
So, and your makeup
Books
goes on like
appointment now.
yeah, that would probably be the top one. If you really want to like treat your skin with a treatment, I would add on a glacier glide treatment, which is cryotherapy for the skin. And if you have like any rosacea or redness, then that's a great add-on. But
I cannot wait to try that. That's what I need in my life.
I don't even like, well, my girls, if they were here, this is why I told them not to come, because they'd be like, that's not true. I don't like to be cold. I don't like cold things, but I do keep this spot like so freaking cold. They complain 24/7 about it. And then they try to like sneak and turn the heat on, and I'm like, that's not my phone. I can change it like with my Apple Watch. Girl, you ain't getting past me. But I don't like cold things on me. Like even if I'm hurt, like I'm not gonna put an ice pack on. Like I hate it. But so I was like so nervous when we tried this, and I like genuinely loved it. It was really relaxing. So I was like, I have to have this machine.
See, I like an ice roller, so I feel
It's like an advanced ice roller that never gets warm. Like it stays 40 degrees the whole time.
Oh wow.
The whole 10 minutes. Or if you do like the full facial, it's like an hour and 10.
Okay, so this isn't necessarily skincare related, but what would you say to a girl in her 20s? Like, what advice would you give? If you could go back, what would you do differently?
Like business wise or just like life?
Just in general, yeah.
So much. 20-year-old Chelsey was a mess. I would just say like don't worry about other people, like what they think about you. I think just know your 30s. Like I know it's scary, but like I feel like my 30s have been the best because I'm finally sick of just like pulling chairs up to tables that I'm not welcome at. I'm creating my own table and I'm inviting everyone to it.
Cheers to that.
I don't like. There's no competition because there is no competition. Like I love everybody. I just want everyone to succeed. There's enough for everyone to eat at the table.
Yeah.
And that was like a really hard lesson for me because I feel like I could have been where I'm at now like years ago if I would have stopped caring what people thought about me, or if I was afraid to step on toes, or afraid that they'll be mad at me, or they'll think this, and who cares? At the end of the day, if they're talking about you like on repeat, then that's a them issue.
It says more about them than it does about you. I always tell my husband that. I'm like, there's no reason to get embarrassed,
No.
you know?
And
They don't pay your bills.
not to quote Tom Holland, because I don't people are like, oh, she's like a big Tom Holland fan. I really just know him in Spider-Man. But I saw an interview with him once, and he said something that I was like, oh my gosh, that's like so profound. Now it doesn't really like work for me in a sense, because like a lot of people have my number, but because that's how you book an appointment and it's online. But he said, if you have a problem with me, text me, and if you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me.
I have seen that. That's
Oh my gosh, like that's such a good thing. Like I guess for me, like if you have a problem with me, like come to my house and we can talk about it. And if you don't know where my house is, then you don't know me well enough to like have a problem with me.
Or we shouldn't care.
Yeah, and it's like I'm just like to the point where like even like with friendships, like it's in your 30s, like you don't have to text them every day, like for them to be your friends. Like I have friends that we can meet up and it's like nothing. Like we catch up, nothing has passed. Like I don't have the time, the mental like capacity to text someone all day long. Besides my husband, because he will blow me up. But it's just like, and then like, is someone's car on there?
I think it's a bell.
I think it's the bells for the church.
Oh, sorry.
Sundays in the South.
Also knowing like picking your friends wisely. Like I always tell people, friend breakups are worse than any breakup I've ever gone through in my life.
Yeah.
And I know at 20 it can feel like the end of the world, and or 25 even. And just knowing like sometimes you just grow apart from people, and it doesn't mean that you're bad, doesn't mean they're bad. It just means that it wasn't meant to be, and maybe it will be one day.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But picking friends that you know have your are protecting your name when you're not in the room.
Yeah.
And that is something that I feel like I did for so many people, and then they weren't doing for me. And that was a big wake up call for me. Like, if they don't have my name, why am I like
Yeah.
dying for their sins when they're not gonna do the same for me?
Yeah. I struggle with that as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's a big thing for me.
And it's hard.
It
Like,
is.
It's like my husband, like I tell him all the time, like I wish I could just like live life like you do, like could give two craps about anyone. Like I don't know if y'all are new girlfriends, but there's like fans. But there's a scene where he's like, "Do you just like worry about other people's feelings all day long?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "How do you get anything done?" She's like, "It's really hard."
Yeah.
And he could like give two craps what anyone thinks of him, or if he's hurt someone's feelings. And I wish I could live life that way, but I just can't. Like, I really do care about everyone's feelings.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt
Yeah.
anyone's feelings, or make anyone feel some type of way. But that's what I would. I feel like I'm just like making these long answers to it. But
No, I love it.
I wish my 20-year-old self would just kind of live for her and not care about anybody else.
Well, and I liked what you said about, like, outgrowing friendships. There's this quote, and it's like, God saw conversations that you didn't see. And I feel like that's so true. Like, I had my worst friend breakup in my 20s, early 20s, and you lose friends when you have babies. Do you know what I mean? Like, people who are in the same life season as you, a lot of the time that can happen. And that was extremely hard for me because I went from being like social and going out and being in college to, I had no one when I was 22. So to being a stay-at-home mom and Ryan being in the police academy and feeling like I didn't have any friends anymore. But it's like you'll always remember the people that were there, like who stuck through the hard seasons. And so,
And I think like having kids really opens your eyes too, because I had a horrible postpartum with Liam and Lorelai, and it was like the people that were checking on me, making sure I was okay, were when the people like did not care, like did not reach out, did not ask. Like, I'm not expecting you to like come to my door or anything, but like just hey girl, you good? Like is all you really need. And then it took like some friends like having kids to be like, hey, like my bad, like I wasn't there for you.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's like, I feel like with friendships, like when you're young, that person hasn't like gone through your stage of where you're at. Until they do, they're not going to understand it. But yeah, it's your 20s. Like, I'm sorry, they suck because you have this like outlook on life and like I need to be at this like level.
yeah.
And I need to do this, and I need to do that, and you're like keeping up with the Joneses, and like you know, with weddings too, like my wedding needs to be better than this person's. Like, who cares?
Right.
I can't remember my wedding to save my life. I was so drunk. And I look back on it all the time, and I'm like, I wish I would have just taken. My dad gave us an option, like you can have this big, huge lump sum, or I'll pay for the wedding. And I wish I would have just taken that lump sum, like. And like put it into my business or something, because who cares? Like,
I think I'm the only one who cares about their wedding. I still think about it, but I had so much fun.
I never think about my wedding, and I always say if I had to do it again, I would just elope.
yeah. Well, my husband, he cares. Like, he's like, that was the best day of my life.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
But glad I married you. But like, I mean, like, I don't really. Nothing else was like. But I feel like now, like having my with my grandma passing, like I do like generally love the photos with her. But like, we could have just like did a big old vacation with the family or something. I think are your parents? Oh, this is like
What? It's
personal,
fine.
but is your parents are your parents
No.
together? Oh, I feel like that has a lot to do with it too. When your parents aren't together, it's like so much freaking drama that I don't want to deal with.
Well, and it's bad, but like looking back, I'm like, it was pretty, it was everything that I wanted, but it was almost like another event to plan. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were just talking about how hard it is to plan birthday parties and the money and just the stress of it.
See, I like doing stuff like that, so I think maybe that's why.
And in my 20s, I generally did, but then I was like, I'm killing myself to like put on this show for who? For
Well,
who?
okay, so I think I was making it my best day. I obviously wanted my friends and family to have a good day too, but like it was about me and Tyler. So I think in that regard, like I don't know, I've just always kind of been the kind of person like I went through a lot when I was little. So as I've been, you know, a grown up, I guess, I just care about me, and some people don't like that.
No, and that's
That's
you gotta care about.
yeah. So like everybody had a great time, like but so did I,
Mm-hmm.
and so did Tyler, and
And I had a good time. It's
Yeah.
just like I'm could have taken my money with it.
Right.
I mean, would I take some money now? Sure, of course I would.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, 20 suck. I'm 30 or 20s, I'm sorry. Like,
it's
it's,
30-ish.
I'm almost out of it. I'll be 29 this summer, and then I'll be finished.
oh, I'm telling you, my 30s have been so, like, liberating. Like,
Because how old are you?
I'm 33.
33. And I'm 34. Okay, so.
It's- I just feel like I can, like, unapologetically be me.
Yes.
Like,
And you know who you are.
I know who I am.
Yeah.
I don't have to like fake it or keep up with the Joneses. I don't care. Like this whole like trying to one up people like I'm gonna get a nicer house. Who cares? Like I generally like I have 2 kids. My house is a mess. Like
Oh, sad.
like if I come home from work and I get an hour with my kids to like hang out and snuggle or clean, I'm gonna pick like hang out with my kids and snuggle. Or like if I can like sit in my bed and like read for an hour before I can go to bed, like that's what I'm gonna do. Luckily, like we can have a house cleaner that comes every other week, but I'm not like I'm just done with like trying to put on a show or just like keep up with all these things. Like
Yeah.
I'm me, and that's like if I want to be giddy over something stupid, and that's something that like I hate when people yuck people's yums. Like
Absolutely.
when someone just like I'm a new Swiftie, and like
Okay.
I feel like so many people are like,
Welcome to the
Taylor
dark
Swift.
side.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Or like, why do you care? Like if
Yeah.
something makes me happy, like why
Yeah.
are you mad about it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just judging people unnecessarily.
And
Yeah.
I just don't like. I don't give 2 craps about
You're all
like
good.
Yeah.
comics, but if something makes someone
Mm-hmm.
happy, like if I'm like, do you? I'll sit here and listen to it. Like, am I gonna like hear it on the night? No. But if you want to talk about it, talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, why are you so unhappy with yourself?
Yeah.
And I used to
Take
be
care
that
of
way
yourself,
because
yeah.
I was so unhappy in my 20s. I was so unhappy that with myself, and I hated myself so much because I wasn't skinny enough, or I didn't feel like I was pretty enough, and like I just had these like
Realistic expectations
yes,
of yourself.
of just like what I should be or what I should be doing and how I should act and like how my house should look like we don't live in it. And I'm like, this is not bringing me joy. Like, if anything, I'm hurting myself.
Yeah.
And or like when people would be like, oh, well, this person just did this, and it's like something like this should be happening. Like, do it, girl. Like,
Right.
go do that. Like, I just want everyone happy.
I feel like especially in the South, that's such a thing. Like just being gossipy and all up in other people's business.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
love
You know what? I
gossip.
love like if me and my friends get some wine, we're gonna talk and we're gonna end it with but we're praying for them.
Yeah.
But like at the end of
Bless
the day,
their heart.
bless her heart. At the end of the day, there's a difference between gossiping and like being a mean girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I think that's where like a lot of people like don't understand.
They lost it there.
Yeah, like
Well, it has to do with your intentions. I think.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you're like with somebody like your friend that's a good person, and y'all could be like talking about stuff, but like at the end of the day, like I'm not gonna like broadcast their drama or
Make them feel bad for
thrive off someone's
Yeah.
downfall. Like that's just to me like
that ain't it.
psychotic. You need therapy, which
Yeah.
I think everyone needs therapy. I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Therapy and
Yeah.
SPF.
Yes,
Yeah.
I need to add this as that.
Yeah. I'll make you one.
Okay, so if someone hasn't been here before, they don't know the transitions that you've been through. So I started seeing you in 2017. I was pregnant with Nolan, so you were still in your salon suite, and
Yeah,
then
that's
got
the year
to
I got
see you.
married.
Yes, because we were talking about your wedding. I remember that. I remember you were about to do like microneedling or something on me, and you like went to start, and I was like, wait, can we do this because I'm pregnant? And you're like, what?
No.
Yeah. That's funny. But then you transitioned into buying the house, and now you're here, and then within the last year, you've brought on other girls. So what's your favorite part about working with the other girls? It's different.
It's very different. It's so.
And you can kind of say like what they do.
I was like by myself for so long. I started like a little closet size like room in Salon Suites, and then
It was still so cute.
well that was Salon. That was only for a year.
Okay.
And then I moved to Synergy where I rented a room, and it was like double the size from what it was before. And I look back at that and I'm like, my rent was like $600. I should have been buying every freaking machine possible. But I held myself back, like we were talking about before, like so much. I was so terrified to like make changes in my business. And I think like when I did like hit those 30s, I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you're hurting yourself. And like, not to get emotional, but I always like, not always, but like within a couple years, I was like, I want to create a space for other girls that they feel safe. And it's like not catty. Like I wanted to like have a family feel, because I didn't have that. Like I was at Ulta, it was horrible. It was so catty. Like girls were so mean. Little naive Chelsey. Like I don't know. If anyone else went to Wilson Central, they probably had like a whole different outlook on life. I never saw drugs. Like maybe weed. Like I really felt like when I moved here, it was like a culture shock. Like I remember moving into like my little college living and like people were dropping like the N-word and I'm like, what in the world is happening here? And then like drug sales were going down and I'm like, are we safe? Do anything?
Yeah.
Like it was a huge culture shock for me. So at Ulta, like these girls would be acting crazy and I would just be like, oh, and like come to find out like because they were all on drugs. So but my naive self didn't know. But that, and it was just like they bred on like turning people against each other and like it was a very toxic work environment. And so like when I went on my own and I realized like it doesn't have to be that way, like I was like, you know what, I want to create a space like that for girls that's just a safe space to learn and like grow in aesthetics, and I don't want to hold them back. Like I don't make them sign non-competes. Like I want them to like literally like love what they do, like I do, like have a passion for it. Like I geek out over this stuff. Like you know, I'll sit and read like a whole ingredient list and like read every ingredient about it. Like if someone comes out with a new product, like I'm geeking out. I'm so excited. Like listening to every webinar I can about it.
Yeah, love it.
Where like someone else would be like, this is freaking boring.
Yeah.
So I was like always like saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I was never like taking the steps to do it. And I had been looking at places and like nothing really felt right, or it was just so much work. And my grandma passed, and it was really, really hard. Like anyone that knows me knows my grandma was like my best friend. And I don't know, like I used to people would talk about science, and I'd be like, okay, like whatever. But at her, she had like a couple funerals, and one of them I wanted to like wear a rose brooch because she loved roses. She had a rose room, and so I thought, oh, Quinn's would have one. And I went to Quinn's, and like as I was pulling in, the person was like putting the for lease sign in the ground, and I like ran up and pulled it out of the ground, and I was like, I'll take it. And she's like, what?
Wow.
Like she was like, don't you want to like see the space? Don't you want to know the rent? I'm like, no. I had like, to make myself not sound crazy, I had been in this house before because it used to be a boutique, and I had like been around. Yeah, it was the Exchange Boutique.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had been in here a couple times. Not enough to like know the whole floor plan or like to tell her I'll take it. Like didn't even know the rent. And it all kind of just like fell into place. Everything was exactly what I needed it to be. And yeah, like just went through a miscarriage. So like we decided like we weren't gonna have any more kids, and I was like I'm gonna put my all into my business. And so I moved in here March 26th. That morning, I felt a little weird. So I was like, for shits and giggles, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test. Took it, set it on the counter, and got distracted because I had a 2-year-old running around, and the movers called, so I left, and like me and Liam, like we were while the movers were moving everything in, all my friends and family came in, helped me because I had clients like that Monday. It was a Saturday, so I was like, we have to get this together.
Yeah.
And we're popping bottles, we're celebrating, like I'm crying all day, like super emotional, but like to me, I'm like, oh, well, it's because like this is a huge like
Life moment.
life moment.
Yeah.
And just drinking champagne, like partying away, And I go home, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I did not keep my son out that long. My husband came, he had to work that day, he had drill, so he came and picked up Liam and took him home, and he's passed out asleep. I'm like taking my makeup off, and I look down, and it just says pregnant. And I'm like, are you effing kidding me?
Oh my god.
And I like went and woke him up, I'm like, hello, and he's like, oh, I thought that was from Liam. I'm like,
I just checked it this
on the
morning.
counter.
On the counter.
Too.
So then,
Husbands.
yeah, that kind of like put a halt in things, because I was like, well, hold on, like, I can't, like, put everything into this, like, now, and then we found out it was a girl, and I was like, oh, geez, like, now I'm gonna be broke, because I want to buy everything, and we had to buy everything new, which we didn't have to, but I wanted to, and it was a pretty hard pregnancy, which, like, both of my pregnancies were, like, pretty rough, but I was just, like, really sick, I could barely work, so at that time, like, I really, like, lost some clients, because I couldn't, like, stay late, couldn't come in early, like, I mean, it was hard to even come into work some days, I was so sick, and, once I came back from maternity, like, then I had, like, really bad postpartum, and then, like, it all worked itself out, but I'm, like, sitting here in an empty house, well, like, I had a girl renting, like, who's a photographer, and I was just like, this is not what my dream was, like, I wanted to fill this up with estheticians, and, like, give them a safe space, and, like, I want something more than just, like, basic facials, so I, like, found the go-to, I called, it was literally the price of a new car, threw up off that, like, little portrait after I made the down payment, and then I was like, I have to make changes, so that was last March, and, with that machine and just, like, really putting my all into my business, I was able to, like, get medical skincare, get, like, a medical director, like, become a medical esthetician, then slowly, like, buy other machines, and then that's when I was like, you know what, I'm ready to, like, get people, and I interviewed a lot of people, and it was really, like, I never posted about it, I really thought I'd get, like, 1 or 2, somehow, I just, like, the world aligned, and, one of my clients, I joke all the time, like, I bullied her into going to aesthetic school, like, she was ready for a life change, and her name's Kayla, she's literally an angel, and I was like, you should do it, like, you should do it at aesthetic school, and then you could come work for me when you're done, like, you could room rent, and it all, like, just kind of aligned. The house next door, came available, and I got that, and, I was like, you know what, Rach, that was the photographer that was in here, Rachel Timpany, look out, she's literally amazing.
She is, yeah.
I was like, I love you to pieces, like, you are literally amazing, but if I hear, like, pop that pussy one more time in the middle of my facials, like,
She does booty more.
She does
Oh, okay.
or like,
That
that
makes
ass, like, I'm like, girl, I love you, and she, like, that's, you're half naked, like, she has to, like, hype you up,
Yeah.
so, luckily, like, she was able to move over there, and she's, like, literally turned that house into, like, the perfect little, like, studio, like, every
It's
room's
so pretty.
her mind, like, oh my gosh, she's insane, like, I love her,
She has this, like,
so
all
smart and
pink
so amazing.
room. It's so pretty.
and creative, like, I could never come up with what she comes up with, she's so talented, so she moved over there, so then I had, like, a whole house to fill up, and then the plan was, like, just to have, like, 1 commission girl, and then room rent, and the 2 rooms down, and then Bryn came along, when she does Botox injections, who was doing mine, so when her lease is up, I was like, yeah, just come rent a room from here, and then, I met Ainsley and Anna, and I'm really, like, I know within, like, seconds if we're gonna vibe, and, like, I just got good vibes from them, and I was like, that's it, like, stopped doing interviews, well, actually, I'd stopped doing interviews after Anna, and then Ainsley had, like, randomly sent me, like, a DM, and was just like, hey, or, like, actually, no, one of her friends did, and was like, hey, like, I have a friend, and her name's Lindsay, and I, like, really love Lindsay, so I was like, yeah, I'll meet with her, and we just clicked, like, I was like, crap, you know, I have 2 girls, like, and I was so worried about it, we, like, did all that, like, November-ish, we did our, content video, like, with us together, like, the Friends one, in December, but they all didn't start till, like, January 3rd, much anxiety about it. I was like, oh my gosh, I hope everyone like loves each other, we get along, and then like Kayla graduated, she took a room, and then they all moved in like January 3rd-ish, and it has been great. Like I love it.
I feel like I have so much fun.
We have so much fun. It's fun to like have people around you that like generally love what like we do, and we'll geek out with stuff like with you, and we just have like inside jokes and like we make fun of each other, and like the other time, like yesterday, our social media Jada, she was here, and she's like, why don't you ever wear scrubs? And I like literally. Ansley and me had a full-on like 20-minute conversation before I went into that room. The door was open, and I was like, I don't know. Like I feel like no shade, but I'm like sometimes I feel like estheticians wear scrubs like to feel like they're nurses. And Ansley's like, I literally have scrubs right now on. I'm like, oh, like just like funny stuff like that. That just we have a ball here, and it's just like fun like content shoots like. Those are fun. Like, I mean, I didn't do any of those when I was just me.
I loved the Valentine's one. It was
oh my gosh,
so cute.
We had so much fun with that, and
I love the Friends too. I mean,
yeah.
I love Friends, and
I love Friends. But it does make me feel old, because they're 21, and then like Kayla's my age, and then Bryn and Jasmine are my age too. So like that evens out. But like I'm with the two commission girls the most, so Anna and Ansley. And so Anna, she is an acne specialist, and then Ansley, she does everything, but like she's really great at brows, so like brow laminations and waxes and stuff. And so I'm with them like 99.9% of the time. And then we have Kayla, who's here a lot too. So it's usually us four, and here all the time. And Kayla like has brought on a lot of machines, so she's been doing a lot of trainings in her room. So it's just me and Ansley, and I'll like bring up a song, and if they don't know it, like I brought up that Amanda Bynes movie.
She's the man.
She's the man?
No, I would hope to God they didn't know that one. But it's like what a girl wants, and it's like I don't want to be bad, but your baby. I was like, it was stuck in my head, and I kept singing that song, and they were like, what is this song?
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh, it's from like that Amanda Bynes movie, and they're like, I've never seen that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Baby's homework.
Yeah, I'm like, go watch it right now.
Yeah.
Or I'll just like make a reference and they don't get it. And they help
That's
me
me and
real
Kara
quick.
talking to each other sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
different
What's
ones.
Coachella?
And they, I still don't know how you don't know what Coachella is. Or like, I'll like have a saying that like, I think it's what are they, Gen Z?
I think so.
And they are like, what are you talking about? Like,
Maybe they're Gen X.
Maybe. I don't know what they are. They're young.
Yeah.
But, I love TikTok. And anytime I'm like, I read an article, I watch the news, it was 100% on TikTok that I saw. Like one day, like I went to drop Lorelai off at school, and they were like, oh, she has pink eye, she can't be here. And I'm like, is the pink eye in the room with us? Like, she has no pink eye. So I came here, I was like so mad, I was like telling them the story, and they were like, I don't get it. And I was like, no one watched my joke, and they were like, I don't get it. And I'm like,
They don't listen to the toast.
yeah, I'm like, you.
Kara doesn't get it either.
Yeah.
Like,
I can tell by the look on her face.
like I don't understand how you don't get that. And so I have like forced them to listen to the toast. They don't like care. They don't like it. That's like I listen to that every day. I love the toast. But Ansley's like a huge Swiftie, so we bond on that. And Anna, she's just like like she just does not care about anything, and she's so funny. Like without even trying. So we call her Footloose. She went to MTC, and she'll just like randomly drop facts like, yeah, I wasn't able to dance at my prom, and we're like, what? Like, what do you mean you couldn't dance at your prom? She's like, oh, I went to MTC. So we call her Footloose, and she'll joke around with me, and I'll joke around with her. Like,
Is that like a Christian school?
yeah,
Okay.
in town.
Okay.
And it just makes me laugh so much every time we call her Footloose, and everyone's like, what? And they make fun of me. I'm like so clumsy. Their first day, I was like, I'm gonna take y'all to lunch or breakfast, and we were like walking, like, I don't know. And I really do feel like I'm on like an episode of Gilmore Girls every day that I like walk to go get something to eat here. So I'm just like, oh, look at me, like going to Dicey's Market, you know,
Yeah.
walking to get something, or Luke's Diner, you know.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that because you keep saying your daughter's name is Lorelai, and I'm just
Oh,
like,
hi,
my heart is.
from Gilmore Girls.
Oh,
At her baby shower, Gilmore Girls was playing.
Yeah.
I was
Oh
like,
my gosh, I love that. I don't know if I sent it to you, but I sent it to like my mom. I saw a Gilmore Girls themed like first birthday party.
Oh my gosh, I saw that on TikTok.
Yeah, I
That's
saw it on
cute.
Reels, 3 weeks later, but it was so cute. I was just like
Love it.
loving it.
I like
You
lived
totally
that
do
life.
that.
Like my mom and me, like my grandma was like 100% Emily Gilmore. My mom was probably more of Rory and I'm more of a Lorelai, but just cause like watching it now, like Lorelai was so awful, or not Lorelai, Rory is so awful. You're like, ew, girlfriend. And then you're getting older because like the more you rewatch it and the more you like realize like Emily was the one in the right the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
and they were awful.
Mhm.
I'm like, dang, I'm getting old. If I'm like agreeing with Emily, but I love that show so much. And like back to my grandma, that was like a show that me, my mom, and my grandma bonded over.
Oh, I love
Because
that.
my mom and my grandma didn't have like a great relationship until like later on in life. But I always like loved my grandma. She was always my best friend. And so we just lived that. And my dad's like a Christopher. Sorry, Dad. But so it was. I always told Mikey like if we have a girl, like I'm naming her Lorelai, and he'd be
I
like,
love
we
it.
are not naming our kid after a show. Like we're not. And he was super close to my grandma, so when we found out we were pregnant, like a couple weeks after she had passed, and he like came home from work one day and he was just like, I had this dream, your grandma like handed me a baby girl, and he's like, so as long as her middle name is Beverly, we can name her Lorelai.
Aww, that's
And I was
so
like,
sweet.
Crying, bawling, and I'm like, okay, well, it's probably not gonna be a girl now because you just said that we could name her Lorelai, and it was, and yeah, so little Lorelai, we call her LB.
That's cute.
I love that.
Lorelai Beverly, that second one though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm done. I can't have another.
Yeah.
She's
Collins
taking
is
it out of me.
like a tornado. Like Nolan was the kid where if any water got on him, he had to change immediately. Like does not like to be dirty. Like is almost OCD about things. And Collins is like laying in mud puddles and just
That's Lorelai.
eating things off the
She
floor.
will just like eat herself off the couch and like not care.
Mhm.
Liam was always like scared of everything,
Mhm.
which I think it's like good for him because like his little sister beats him up all the time. She's given him like 3 black eyes at this point.
Oh
like
my gosh.
he has like something on his face and I'm like, oh, what happened, my sissy? Like,
Aww. It's fine.
it's fine. Oh yeah. God forbid you discipline her. Like he gets so
Aw.
mad. He told me the other day, he's like, I'm calling the cops on you.
Oh my
I'm like,
gosh.
she literally just punched you in the face. He's
Yeah.
like, she didn't need to. She's a baby. I'm like, okay.
Nolan told me the other day. He said, "I'm gonna be a better parent than you."
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
wow, the shade. I've never been shaded more in my life than my 4-year-old.
Oh
Liam.
yeah.
He'll say things sometimes. I'm just like, what? Like,
Mhm.
where did that come from? Like, he'll just call me out all the time.
Yeah. Kennedy does that to me too.
And you're just like, and then they're not wrong.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, I can't, like, that's a lie. You're gonna do it right. Like, the other day, I was like, talking about being late, how we're late to everything. He's like, well, you just woke up earlier. And I'm like,
Dang.
not you, like,
Yeah.
calling me out.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Ugh.
That's funny.
But,
Okay, last question. What are your goals for the next 5 to 10 years? It can be business, personal.
well, if I told you that, I could kill you.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to go into too
Trade
much
secrets.
detail.
This is
Yeah.
trade secrets. Just to continue, like, providing the best that we can and helping several people with their skincare journeys and making people feel confident in their skin and beautiful and just providing a safe space for other estheticians. I really would love to, I feel like in Murfreesboro, I think they're really catty in like the aesthetics environment or just like beauty environment, honestly. I want to like have maybe like a yearly luncheon or something. Where I'll get together because honestly, I don't believe in competition. I've not been in competition since like competitive dance, and I don't plan on being in another. But I just so much from each other. Like really following like other estheticians on Instagram and just like, or even just anyone in the beauty world, just talking to them. And like social media sucks. It's like a literal second job. Like, and it's like, I tell people like, I don't want to say my job's hard because there's like, my husband's like literally in the military. Like his job's hard. You know, I don't work on an oil rig. So it's like, you can be working on an oil rig. So my job isn't hard, but it is like emotionally draining, and like no one else is gonna understand like what I'm going through other than someone that's in this industry. And
Such a good point.
we'd have to talk to each other, if anything, just to give like mental health checks. Like, you good? Like, you know, some days there's days where like I have clients and I want them to like feel safe and tell me their struggles, but like I'm really bad at like going home and turning it off. And so sometimes it's just good to like be able to like talk to someone else, but like I love this person so much. I really only see her once a month, and I love her so much, and like my heart's breaking for something she's going through. Like, obviously not tell what she's going through, but like just have someone else that understands that. Because like my husband's like, you never hung out with this girl. Like, why do you care so much? And, like, because I like,
I'm an
Very
empath.
much- I was
I
gonna
love
say,
her.
you're empathetic, yeah.
but only someone that's doing what I'm doing will understand that, and or just understand how hard Instagram is. Like, I never thought like going to aesthetic school that I would have to like literally do dances on Instagram for social media. Like, it baffles me. Like, there's some days where I'm like, am I literally having to shake my butt on this reel for what? For what? And then it does good, and I'm like
For that.
Why?
Yeah.
Why does it have to do this?
Like the world we live in.
Yeah.
And like, I don't understand Instagram, and it's just good to like have other people in this field that can be like, hey, like I did this and it helped me. Or just like different products. Like, I don't care if someone down the street got a glow tube machine. Like, if anything, like I tell people like this whole competitive thing, like, oh, they got this, or they brought on buy or refill, or they did that. Good, because your client might be following them, and like I've been posting, I swear I post about the glow tube every single day because I'm literally obsessed with it. I have a problem. And there will be people that will message me and be like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, girl, I've been talking about this 24/7 for a year. But it's like, sometimes they're just clicking mindlessly and they're not paying attention. But someone else in your area might be carrying that, and their client shared it, and now bam, they're interested because someone else got it, and now they're coming to you with the mindset of like, oh, I want to try that. Even though you've told them about that a million times, it's in one ear out the other, but now another girl's had it, and they're like, well, I want to try it.
It's like when your mom tells you something 20 times,
Exactly.
and then your friend tells you once,
Exactly.
and you're like, oh wow, what a great idea.
Yes.
Like,
So by anything, like, we're helping each other. And so like, why not sit down and talk about a brand or a machine or a product or just anything? So that would be something that's like really close to my heart, is just like continued education, because it is hard to find, and I want to like help provide that for people that don't like. I didn't go to trade shows a lot, and because they're expensive. I mean, I just took we have a videographer. Her name's Jessica. She's amazing, black videographer. Like, I brought her with us to our New York show. Like, it's expensive, and like you have to get a hotel and buy the tickets. Like, it's a lot, and like, yeah, it was like an abundance of education. I'm so glad I went, but I could have never done that starting out. And if I could bring some of that here, so I could just like show up someplace and do it for free or a low amount, that would make my heart happy, because I know how much like going to those things have like literally helped me with my business. Even if it's just like them meeting, like us having a little meeting, talking to a business advisor, like taxes. Your girl knew nothing about taxes, and it caught up to her. Just to keep up with that and like know what to do and what not to do, and like what you can and cannot write off, could help somebody so much. So I guess that would be like something that I want to do in the future.
I love that.
And just help others out and try to not work as much is my goal. That's my
better work-life balance.
yes.
Make your business work for you.
That's kind of what, and like teaching people about passive income is like really important to me too. So I really want to get that. If Mikey was here, he would say like, yes, my number one should be work-life balance. But it's so hard when you love what you do. If you don't really love what you do, it's easy to be like,
Checking
see
out.
you next week.
Yeah.
But and that's a thing about owning a business. You can't check out. Like I have people messaging me at like 3 a.m, which granted I'm asleep, so I'm gonna text you back in the morning. But like even on vacations, I'm like, getting emails and getting texts. I have brands calling me like, or just like anything that goes around here, like that needs to be fixed. Like you're never fully off. Like I always joke like I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
Yeah.
But it's rewarding in a different sense. But yeah, like even I'll joke. I'll be like, oh, let me ask my boss. Or like she's like, this is the worst boss I've ever had because I don't give myself days off. But it's probably like one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I'm so glad that I was kind of like talked into it and like I jumped off that ledge. Because I probably would still be working at Ulta if it wasn't for someone forcing me to jump off a ledge.
No, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being our first guest and coming on the
Sorry
pod.
for my long-winded answer.
No, you were perfect.
So where can people follow you on Instagram?
Skin.confidence on Instagram and Facebook.
And you're located here in Murfreesboro, near the square.
Right off the square, 220 North Spring Street.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Everybody wear their SPF.
Yes.
Everybody go for their dreams.
Yes.
And we're just so glad that you were here for us today.
I love
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening today. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Kara.
And remember, we're all just walking each other home. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us every Tuesday for a new episode on Apple and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review and follow us on Instagram at 30ish_podcast.
Bye.